Welcome to the Ultimate Mixtape, an Andrew McMahon fan podcast covering his projects from something corporate to wilderness and everything in between. Join your hosts, Jess and Jimmy, as they talk about the Andrew McMahon fandom, upcoming shows, news, and discuss the music with you, the fans.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jess Manzilla, and with me, as always, I have my partner in crime and life, Jimmy McFadden.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Mixtape Season 2. It feels good to be back, right, Jimmy?
Absolutely. I'm actually super excited for this season coming up.
Yeah, and we kind of took a little bit of the summer off to just go to shows, travel, and while we were doing that, we were thinking about how we wanted to pursue season 2 for the podcast. And I mean, it just kind of came down to something so simple. We wanted everything to be meaningful, and we had so much fun doing it the first time, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think meaningful was probably like the biggest thing me and you wanted to get out of it. I think we had some amazing guests, and like I personally learned so much about like music and how a song is created and the background of that, like how long it takes. That stuff to me was like so interesting.
Definitely.
But there was a bunch of ideas. I think first off, we were thinking like, let's make 12 episodes, each one based on a fan group of like say Paramore or Fall Out Boy. But then there's this theme, and it was I think on every episode.
Pretty much. If
Yeah.
you listen to the first season, you can kind of guess.
Yeah. So this guy plays piano. You might have heard of him. But no, everything was themed around it. Seemed like Andrew McMahon was always brought up. So it was like, that's what we know. We know a lot about it. So it was like, so moving forward, this Ultimate Mixtape podcast is actually going to now turn into an Andrew McMahon fan podcast. Again, same website, theultimatemixtape.com. We'll post a bunch of blogs, photography pictures like from the shows, and updates. But I think this is the direction we should go.
Yeah, and why not stick to what you know and love? I mean, both of us have been heavily in the Andrew fandom for a long time, and what could be more impactful than that? I mean, we have met so many amazing people because of him, and we can now be a great voice for the fans. So I can't wait to meet more people and continue to travel. We're going to quite a few shows that are coming up here in the next couple months, and there's a ton of cool events that are happening by the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I'm actually ecstatic about this change because, like you said, we know a lot about it. We met a lot of friends through it. Me and you met because of it, so that's pretty special in its own right. So let's do the damn thing.
Exactly.
Andrew was here last month. Finally, he left New York for a little bit. I had a ton of FOMO from all those damn New York pictures, but he was here for 3 shows in July, and obviously we hit all of them. Obviously, but part of the shows for you was something he said like before that tour even started, and he was like, "You guys should set up some meetups. New fans can meet up. He might pop into a few of them, but I know this has been like super important for years for you. So why was doing that like so important to you for these 3 shows?"
Well, I mean, honestly, doing a fan event is something I wanted to do for a very long time. Like, I've talked about it before.
Right.
And this was the perfect opportunity for us, especially because since we are like a little bit newer to Florida and going to Florida shows, I mean, I was so used to the Midwest, and like you kind of start to see the same people at every show and you get to know everybody. And it's that same vibe of like waiting in line all day. You got your chair out there, you're bringing games, you're meeting new people in line. Like, I wanted that same vibe, but for us to organize it and actually plan to meet new people and hang out. And, right now, I've noticed more than ever, I guess, that there's a lot more fans that are starting to travel to more shows.
Right.
And we've been known to, fly to California for a random show.
For
And
one 40-minute show.
exactly. So I've noticed a lot more people are starting to travel that way and really like make a weekend out of going to see the show and meeting up with their friends. And I think that that was a perfect opportunity for us to get people together here in Florida.
Yep.
And it's a little bit more unique as a fandom to have everybody hang out, create games and try to bring the community together in a different way. Obviously, there's Dear Jack. Everybody's familiar with that if you're an Andrew fan, but I was really interested in the idea of focusing on the fan community aspect of it and not necessarily just the fundraising community
Yep.
aspect of it.
Yep.
And like I said, people were kind of doing these things anyway, like a tailgate, like you're waiting
Mhm.
outside all day.
Yep.
Um, I've been in the snow for 8 hours, so we are barricade people. We love being up front. Once you're up front singing with your favorite musician, like there's nothing like that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we're always the people that want to be there, get up front, sing and dance and enjoy the show. And
Mhm.
I just thought it would be a great like networking opportunity for all of us. And
Yep.
you know, we kind of piggybacked it off of the idea of, I don't know, a lot of people like the same type of music. So Paramore,
Mhm.
they
Right.
have a fan community called the Paramore Family.
Hmm.
And their mission basically is to make sure nobody like goes to a show alone.
Yep. Yep.
So they meet up before shows, they get dinner together. Paramore's been known to like send them pizza and sign things for them. And it's pretty cool. And I thought that that was a great way to bring people together that maybe necessarily don't typically feel comfortable like reaching out to random people,
Yep.
and a nice chance to like talk to some new people, talk about your favorite thing,
Mhm.
and everybody is there for the same common reason. So,
Right. Yeah.
like what we would do in lines and in bathrooms, just talking to random people, I love the idea of like having a central place, like let's hang out, let's get a drink together. We know there's food, there's
Mhm.
bathrooms, like we can all just enjoy that time together and talk about our favorite thing, which is Andrew McMahon and his music, and
Right.
really bond over that.
Yeah. I thought it was cool to bring it to Florida because to me, the Midwest is a lot easier because you can drive 2 hours any direction. You could be in a different state. Whereas like these shows in Florida, they were literally all over the map. I think the last show we drove, or the second show we drove 4 hours for. In the Midwest, you could be in two different states in 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cool that you did this and brought it to Florida for all three shows. I'll admit though, I saw obviously firsthand all the work that you were putting into it, and it was like, God, I hope this works out. God, I hope this works out because people can say they're going to come or stuff like that, but
Mhm.
it's a show day. People have their own routine, their own schedule. Some want to sit in the barricade or like sit in line for barricade all day. But I think the 110-degree weather helped us. That a lot of people didn't want to do that, or
I
people
didn't.
want to right, or people want to meet like their friends for drinks and stuff, and they don't have time to go do the meetup. But to me, the
Mhm.
meetups were a blast. I was pleasantly surprised how they turned out. And I know we're going to get into each show and probably talk about a little bit of each show, but I was very impressed with the meetups. I think everybody like really enjoyed themselves,
Mhm.
and to meet those new people because I had never met anyone at any of those meetups before. So that was actually fun for me. So kudos to you for setting that up.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely loved meeting everybody that came out. Like
Mhm.
you said, they were actually people we don't already know. Like
Yep.
we did have some friends coming from out of town, but it was
Mhm.
really cool to have people from Florida or traveling to Florida for the shows, and we got to like hang out a little bit, talk about past shows and things like that, and how people got into him, how they got into his music, and getting to know like some of those people that maybe we've seen on the Rock Boat or, at
Right.
other shows before. Like, I know the heat was a huge factor, and everybody's kind of having crazy weather right now, but
Yeah.
it was brutal. Like over 100 degrees,
Right.
you're literally dripping sweat without even doing anything.
Just sitting. Right.
So um, I just think I over planned, of course, like trying to have the games and things to like have
Mhm.
and give away. But overall, it seemed like people more or less just enjoyed each other's company and
Yeah.
like talking to each other and hanging out. And, maybe like you've seen this person on Facebook before, but you've never talked to them. And you kind of like start to put faces to the names, and you see them in different groups like the Pop Underground or even on Andrew's page, and you're like, oh, that's that person. Okay, so
Yeah.
now you're starting to get to know each other more, and we ended up seeing some of the people that we met at these events at other shows now too.
Right.
So it's kind of cool that we could meet up in that way and start planning and hanging out at other shows too. And
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to do more things like this and just gather people,
Mhm.
especially during like the main shows where people like to travel, like festivals and things like that.
Yeah.
It brings the community together. Like I said, it's not just a Dear Jack thing anymore as a
Right.
community, just like as purely as fans, just
Mhm.
hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually thought it was smart. Like, to me, the games were like a backup plan just in case it was awkward.
Yeah, in case
But
it got weird.
yeah, I could be weird. But it was like just surprising that people just clicked. Like, people thoroughly enjoyed just talking about, and it wasn't even Andrew stuff. It was just other bands they liked, other shows that they were going to, like the girls that we met and Ponte Vedra, they were going to hit Fall Out Boy like 2 days later
Yeah.
in North Carolina, like not even in Florida. So it was just a cool meetup. I know you had the pins and the stickers. I think those really hit off really well. People liked them. And then the Swifties and these damn bracelets that was even brought to Ponte Vedra. So you got to switch some bracelets with.
Yeah, there was
Thank you.
some in Orlando too.
Oh,
Kelly
was there?
had really cute ones
Oh,
that she
that's right. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I
Kelly had a
think
ton.
Andrew actually posted a picture of the one that she gave him in the Camp Wilderness group, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember she had a ton of them. Um, but aside from all the fans, we also had 3 shows. We hadn't seen
Mhm.
Andrew for a while. We hadn't seen him since, I think, Audacity or Odyssey Festival last December in Fort Lauderdale. So it had
Yeah.
been 8 months, which to me and you, that's like 3 years. That's a long time. Um, so what did you think of the actual first show in Ponte Vedra?
So the first show in Ponte Vedra, it was actually kind of like a weird venue.
Mhm.
I guess it used to be a church, which you could tell. Like when you were in there, it was really unusual. Like it felt kind of like slapped together,
Yeah.
and it didn't really feel like the way a normal venue feels.
Yeah.
But overall, the show I really, really enjoyed. Like I
Mhm.
had so much fun at that show, and it was fun to be around like some of our friends, and it was awkward in there, but it felt very intimate. So that's what I really, really liked about that show.
Yeah.
What did you think of Ponte Vedra?
So me being from Florida, Ponte Vedra is a golf city. It's a ritzy golf city. Tiger Woods lives there. Like all these pro golfers live there. So when I think of Ponte Vedra, I think of golf. I don't think of a venue, let alone a venue that used to be a Baptist church. So that part was very weird. And I know like we got there early because of the meetup.
Mhm.
So it was like there was a church or what used to be a church, and there was like this little rec center. And when
Mhm.
I saw the people coming out of the rec center, it was like, where the hell are we? Because I thought we were at the wrong location because all I saw was the elderly people, and it was like uh, 12 o'clock bingo must have just let out. It was like, it was either that or Andrew's getting some really older fans and they wanted barricade. But it was weird. I guess they were doing barricade for bingo, but it was just like very, very weird. It was like, where the hell are we? Are we at a church? Like, why is he playing at this church?
Meanwhile,
Um,
they were giving us side eye like we were the weirdos.
right.
So
Where are these youngins going? But that venue is kind of cool because it's actually like a sister venue of St. Augustine Amphitheater, which we go to a lot of shows at. So that was actually kind of cool. But going back to like my sarcastic barricade comment, we didn't do VIP for that show, but we did it for the next two shows. But again, the workers there had no idea what VIP was, or they didn't know what getting in line first was. So it was a lot of confusion. Like after VIP went in, we all went in or we all like set in line, and it was like, oh cool, we're gonna be first. And even the guy said, he's like, yeah, VIP is gonna have to go to the back of the line. And then like 20 minutes before the damn doors open, they're like, oh no, we're gonna make a change. We're gonna have all the VIP going first. So it's like, I agree with that. I just wish it was more set in stone. Like if you get VIP at a venue, you just go in first. That should just be like an automatic. And
because if we had known that, we wouldn't have stayed outside in the heat. We would have stayed in the car in the air conditioning.
Yeah.
So that would have been, and we did ask too. So that was the thing that was like a little bit frustrating about that, is like they never seem to be consistent.
Yeah. So it's like that part to me is annoying because like House of Blues, you kind of know what's going on, but this venue was like they had no idea what was going on. But regarding the show, I thought the show was a blast. Like you said, I thought it was very intimate. I think it's 900 people standing, and then like if they have seats, it's only 450 people. So it's like a super, super small venue. But I love Floor opening. I have always liked them. They opened for him like 2019-ish, I think, is when they opened for him last, and I was super impressed with them then. So I loved seeing them again. I thought Andrew's set was strong. He played, I think it was 5 songs off the new album, which I thought was a great start to a tour. And then to me, If You See Jordan was the highlight. That guy kept yelling, "My friend's name is Jordan, can you play?" And he was like, "Shut up." And then he finally played it, and it pissed Bobby off, but he still played it. So to me, that was like, it was a good start for the next two other shows that we were going to. But I guess we're going to move on to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, I mean, we did have so much fun at that show that's kind of what enticed us to buy VIP for Fort Lauderdale, because we're like, oh my God, this was so fun. Like, why don't we just do VIP for the next day? They're still available. So we like bought them at the last minute, like literally in the car driving back. So
from Ponte Vedra.
And I love that show. It was definitely a little bit different with how small it was, because I don't think we've been to a show that small in a long time.
Yeah.
I love the way that the band did their set list this time around. Like they kind of had like a rotating set of like 50 songs that they were playing with. And I think that was such a smart idea, because we're people that go to multiple shows, and sometimes you just want them to change it up a little bit. So
just
even
a song or two. Yeah.
Even a song like Dark Blue, we're gonna hear it every time, but he played it at different points in the sets of the show. So like one time it'd be last, one time it'd be in the middle. So that was kind of cool to see that happen. And I mean, Fort Lauderdale was a little bit of a challenge for us. What did you think of the Fort Lauderdale show?
I had high expectations because we'd been there before. So I always like, when I see a show there, I think highly of it. But to me, it was different. Like you said, it was very different. We did do another meetup, which was fun, and we actually met 2 amazing people, Jess and Carrie. They actually live, I think they're in West Palm or Fort Lauderdale area. They were close to that venue. But we met up there. We met up with them. They're sisters, and they were just super down to earth, super cool. They had seen Andrew a ton of times, like we have. We ended up doing VIP with them, which was, I thought, a lot of fun because we got to hang out even more. VIP was the typical. It was probably a regular size VIP, nothing like big like the next one. Orlando was huge. But was very glad we decided not to stay in line after VIP for Barricade.
It was just hot.
Yeah, hot as hell. But we ended up going to this pizza place, which was, I had high hopes for it too. The decor was beautiful. Everything was so cool inside until the waitress lied to me. I cannot stand spicy food, and I asked for a pepperoni pizza, and she said we have some other shit, and it was spicy as hell, and I still remember it. But it was just fun to hang out with Jess and Carrie. We also had our friend Jess from Boston in town, so it was like it was just fun to hang out with them and talk music. It's like what we all love. But I guess we went back to the venue like 30, 45 minutes prior. And again, same situation. VIP. Don't know if you get in or not. We'll make a call. We're not sure. Well, that didn't work. So we never did get in early. But with that venue, it's kind of weird to be on the barricade because the stage is, I'm going to say 7 or 8 feet tall when you're looking at it. It's like
super tall.
Yeah, and I don't really understand why. So it's like you're kind of better off standing back. So we actually stood back a bit further and on, like we were a level with the stage instead of being down on the floor. But the show itself, I'm gonna try to say this in the nicest way possible. The people there were there to hear Dark Blue and pray that Constantine was played. And that was it. They just wanted to go on with their day after that. So I didn't think the crowd was really into it, which is kind of disappointing because obviously all of us are into it. We know every song. So it's like, why do you guys not have the same momentum? It's like he just came out with a brand new album. He's playing these new songs. Like even when he played, what was it, Smoking Ribbons, he started.
Yeah.
Before he even started, he was like, if you guys, or some of you guys might not know this, I feel sorry for you. And for the people who do know it, yell at the person next to you all the words, because I'm sure he could tell that people were just not knowing his song. Which again, I'm very surprised because he hits a lot of Florida shows, so you would think that they would know, but that part was weird to me. It was like I go to a show, I know at least half or more of the songs. Obviously, I'm going to know all of his, but they just were not like into it. So that's my long 2 cents of what I thought of the show. What did you think of it?
I mean, of course it's Andrew. I'm gonna have fun. I
Right.
actually loved the spot that we were standing. It was like you said, it was more elevated and it was like
Mhm.
even with the stage, so you could literally see everything. Nothing was blocking your view. No tall guy randomly walking in at the last minute and standing right in front of you. And it had like this weird like bar top table. So for us elders, we got to
That's me.
lean against
That's me.
that and put
Right.
our drinks on it. And during the show, it was actually kind of fun because Andrew could see everybody along this bar top and he started like jumping up and like dancing on it and singing on it. So we got some cool videos of that and that was
He
pretty
scared the
fun.
shit out of me. He stole my phone.
That was
Boy.
hilarious. So I enjoyed that and like watching the show with our friend Jess from Boston and
Yeah.
Jessica Carey. Obviously, there's a lot of Jessicas in this fandom. I don't know
Yeah.
what was going on in the early '90s, like late '80s, but everybody's named Jessica that I meet.
Yeah.
But
I'm Jess number 5.
the takeaway is kind of similar to yours. Like overall, like by no fault of like any of the bands, like the
No,
sound
not
was
at all.
great. The bands put on a wonderful show, but it was just like this vibe that you can feel that people weren't into it, like
Yeah.
or as into it as like we would be, but
Right.
it just felt a little bit off. And yeah, I could tell like when Andrew did say that about smoking ribbons, like okay, he feels it
Yeah.
because he wouldn't say something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
And I don't blame like people for not knowing the new album because it did just come out. There's
yeah,
people that aren't as crazy as us, and I'm sorry for them, but at least know his other songs because he played a shit ton of his other songs. Like I think he's
yeah,
averaging like 5 new album songs a night. So it's like there's still like 15 to 20 other songs that you should know.
yeah,
So to me that was kind of weird. But after the show there was an emo night.
yes.
Um, that was we have a lot to say about emo night, but it was like for a week or so, emo night kept advertising a picture of Andrew. It's at this venue or it's at this bar, which is actually the bar that we met um, at before the show. But it was like Andrew, and they never really said Andrew's going to be there, but like Connor reposted it. Andrew
Yeah,
never reposted it, but
just his picture, like his picture that they've been using like all tour,
yeah,
and like having his name on there, but not saying like, "Hey, Andrew will be here at 12 o'clock" or whatever. It was
right,
just, it was weird, and we didn't know what to make of it. And we were already familiar with that bar, so like, why not go check it out?
Yeah, and even our friend Lisa, I remember she had commented on their Instagram post, the emo night, and they were like, "Is he going to be there?" And they were like, "You never know. They like to party." And it was like, you guys know damn well he's not showing up. Like, why are you using his like? I don't know. That part I thought was very shitty because it was like you're using him to get more crowd, and it was like
Yeah,
he's
that
never
was
showing up.
that was
Yeah,
strange.
yeah. But the actual emo night, we actually went in a few times because it was that weird. Um, we're in Fort Lauderdale, so there was a lot of twerking, which I did not expect to see at emo night. I'm not sure who went home with who, but there was a lot of twerking. So when you hear like My Chemical Romance, there shouldn't be twerking to that. So that part was
I have that on my bingo card.
yeah, that wasn't on my bingo card. And then the other thing that wasn't on my bingo card is the guy who tapped me on the shoulder and asked me if I wanted a certain substance to have a better time tonight. That was not on my bingo card, and I hope that's never on my bingo card again because that boy was weird. He asked me who my wife was, am I having a good time, if I wanted a substance. And it was like, I'd like to get out of here is what I would like to do because that was fucking weird.
The best part about that is like anybody that knows Jimmy, I mean, look at him. He's
Yeah,
like the one person that would never do that. Like
no, not at
that
all.
whole place, that guy could have asked like
Right.
100 people, and probably all of them would have been like, "Yeah, let's try it."
Yeah,
But Jimmy would be the only person that would say
yeah,
like, "No."
yeah. I'm not twerking the Black Parade. I'm not gonna have your white substance. I just want my cider and I want to listen to music. Do not fucking talk to me again. And then he finally went on his way, and then he went to the bar and he started dancing and asking the girl.
So
So it was,
strange.
yeah, it was a very weird show, but the emo night was even more weird because I didn't want to be offered that substance.
Well, and
Um,
if you're not familiar with that area in Fort Lauderdale, it's kind of like a little party strip. I would say like similar to Nashville,
yeah,
or kind of like it feels like a college town, you
yeah,
know?
like super lively and fun,
Yeah,
like
all the bars are
super
going
fun.
in. People are just walking in and out of bars and like, having a good time. So it
Yeah,
was just kind of strange to,
yeah,
be in that environment.
yeah. So don't ask me that again, Mr. Man. But so let's move on from Fort Lauderdale and go to the probably the biggest show of the three, in my eyes, was House of
Yeah.
Blues Orlando. Um, our friend Lisa, or as our friend from Boston says, Lisa, um, she flew from New York. She is AM Chalk, one of two of AM Chalk. I'm sure you know who she is. But she flew in to Orlando the night before for this Orlando show and then some weekend shenanigans with us. But how was Orlando for you?
I mean, we knew Orlando was going to be big.
Yeah.
I think that show sold out pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew there was going to be a lot of people there, and most of the people that we do already know in Florida
Yeah.
usually hit up the Orlando shows. So
Yeah.
it's a nice little center point for everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the wilderness community that we knew, like everybody was most excited about that one, and that's kind of why I wanted to do a meetup, because I knew like there could be opportunity to meet some new people too. And we ended up going to Splitsville. If you're not familiar with that area, the House of Blues in Orlando is actually like within the Disney compound.
Yeah.
So all of the restaurants in that area are all part of the Disney experience, and Splitsville is literally right within walking distance, like 20 steps.
Yeah.
So
It's super close. Like you can see it from Splitsville.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it was nice because I wanted to be close enough to where we can like keep an eye on the line if we needed to. And
Mm-hmm.
we found a cool spot on the upper level. It is also a bowling alley. So
Mm-hmm.
we found like this cool little bar next to some of the lanes, and we just chilled there and started, messaging people, and they started coming upstairs. And before you knew it, the bar was empty, and then there was like 20, 30
Yeah.
people.
And that
So
bartender, so
she was
much
not expecting
patience,
that.
so much patience. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they weren't sure what to do with us.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, there's another bar upstairs. I'm like, okay, let's check
Yeah.
it out. There's nobody here. Like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So we didn't know who would show up, and we were
Right.
like so excited that so many people came through, and it was really fun to meet everybody. And I
Mhm.
actually almost felt like I wish we had more time. Like, it
Right.
was before you know it, VIP has to meet up, and
Mhm.
since it was a bigger group, we knew like people wanted to make sure that they got to the VIP on time. So
Mhm.
maybe next time we'll think about like timing and how to, plan
Mhm.
so we'll have a little bit more time. But I think the VIPs kind of like dipped into that. If we weren't doing that,
Yeah.
we would have had more time. So
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. What did you think of the VIP?
I actually liked it. I mean, it
Yeah.
was fun. We danced a little bit, kind of had like a little bit further back of a spot.
Mhm.
When I've done multiple shows, I don't like to like try to like push in front of people in the VIP. I'd rather them just,
Yeah.
if they haven't done a show, that they get to experience that.
Right.
So the only thing I would say is like the VIP for that Orlando show was so big that
Mhm.
it took a while to get through the line. And we didn't really have much of a chance to do anything else after that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you
but
did get a chance to talk to Andrew, which was about the meetups, which was nice.
yeah, I got to tell him about everything and show him
Mhm.
pictures. So that was pretty fun. And
Yeah.
you got a chance to take photos.
Yes. A
So
lot of
that's cool.
photos. But I was just glad that you got, because I thought all three meetups were like so much fun, and I thought they did a lot better than I expected, and not
Yeah.
bad towards you. You had no idea how many people were going to show up. If anybody was going to show up, it was like there was so much uncertainty. Um, so I thought all three were really fun. We met a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
Um, but I thought it was fun that you got to like share photos with him, and things like that, so he could actually like see what you did. But yeah, that VIP was huge. I was happy to be at the end of the line and stay in the AC,
Yes.
um, because it's so freaking hot. But what did you think of the actual show?
The energy at that show was really fun. Like people were excited about the starting line. I know that's why Lisa came down.
Yeah.
Um, I guess, I mean, I'm not too familiar with their whole background and everything, but
Mm,
they hadn't played any shows since the last Christmas shows that they played in their
yeah.
area. So for them, it's been quite some time since they were playing some shows. And
Mm,
it sounded like a lot of people were excited for them to reunite.
yeah.
And, from what we've seen, even just seeing them again at with Newfound Glory and All
Mhm.
American Rejects, they sound like they're ready to be touring again. So that was
Yeah.
kind of cool. And
Yeah.
it's almost like a co-headliner because they ended up playing a ton of songs.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
seven,
17, I think it was. It was crazy. Yeah.
yeah. And you got some pretty cool shots of Kenny and stuff too. So that was awesome.
That boy jumps around like crazy. So I was very glad that some of them came out. But to me, the whole show was good. It was a home show for Floor, because Orlando is where they're from, which I thought was really fun. So you could tell they were very happy to like be home, and they were heavily into it. But to me, starting line was just like you said, it was almost co-headliner. I would
Yeah.
have thought they would have played like 10 songs maybe, and it would have been over, but they just kept playing and playing. It was like when someone, I think, I forget who told us, but it was like they just played 17 songs, and it was like, holy shit. But it was like so many people were excited about that show, and then Atlanta the next day just to see starting line. Obviously, they're excited to see Andrew, but it was like starting line was a huge draw for a lot of people, um, for both of those shows. But and then Andrew's set to me was solid. Hearing "Line on the Hood of Your Car," I was thrilled that he added that to the set list. But I just liked how you said earlier, each of those three set lists a little bit different. Like two or
Mhm.
three songs change, and I think that's smart. So I um, I thoroughly enjoyed all three shows. I got to have a photo pass for all three, thanks to Matt. Um, so I thought that was awesome. Those are probably, I'm gonna say they're probably my best concert photography like shots I've ever taken. I've been reading a ton on concert photography, so it was nice to finally get three shows in a row to put what I'm trying to learn into use. So, um,
Yeah,
It
you
was
have
just
all
a
those uploaded on your website, right?
yes, they're all there. Yeah, yeah. I'll put a link on this episode later, but to me, like all three shows were exactly what we needed, were exactly what we wanted. It was like we hadn't seen him for a while, and it was like, let's go.
I
But
think
going
Orlando.
to what we normally do, we just saw three shows, so why don't we add another?
Well, I was gonna say Orlando felt very like needed.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
got the energy out that we needed, so I was really happy with that.
yeah. We saw a ton of people that we always see in Orlando, which I love seeing those people. A lot of them are from, like you said, the Rockville. But that meetup of 20 to 30 people was just like, holy
That was
cow, this is a ton of people. But that I guess Orlando was on a Friday, and then Saturday we went to Jacksonville to see Yellowcard
yeah.
for
I'm
the
not
20th
sure
anniversary.
why we do that to ourselves.
Why not? It's only an hour and a half. It's
We
fine.
were feeling pretty rough at that point, and
Yeah,
honestly, because we've been having so much fun at Andrew shows, I was like, maybe we could go to Atlanta, but the drive would just have been too long. So overall, I'm happy that we did go to Yellow Card. We did
yeah,
run into some of the people that we had met at the meetup there too. So that was
right.
pretty cool.
The show to me was a blast because we got there a little bit late, so we got to see Story of the Year, and then we got to see all of Mayday's set, and then obviously Yellow Card set. But to me, the Yellow Card set was like, it's not what I expected.
I
It's the
mean,
20th anniversary of an album.
they put on a
So
great show. Don't get me wrong. I was just a little confused as to why they didn't play the album like front to back, like they had different songs intermixed in there.
right,
And my thought is maybe they're trying to get people interested in their other music,
yeah,
but that kind of like threw me off. That like they start playing like a jam and then they switch to another song that like I don't really know.
yeah.
But overall, they put on a fantastic show.
They did, and you could tell they were excited to be home. But it was like I've actually read articles recently because that tour just ended that they're just shocked at how popular they are right now. Like it's almost like they couldn't sell out smaller venues, but now they're selling out like an amphitheater,
Yeah,
which
pretty cool.
is just yeah, it's just wild. So from what they said, it was like get ready for more music. I know they just dropped that EP recently, so I expect to see a lot more tour dates from them coming up. But one little side story that I think is really cool about them personally is I think it was like '04. Like my first Something Corporate show was '02, but in '04 I saw Something Corporate and Yellow Card together, and it was like then seeing Andrew for those three shows and then seeing Yellow Card at the end of the week, it was such a nostalgic thing for me. And it was like, let alone Ocean Avenue. It was like, this is 20 years ago. It's crazy. So I'm excited about the future for them because I think they're obviously blowing up again right now, but I think they're going to continue to blow up with another album.
Yeah, I think that was pretty cool, them coming back. And
Mhm.
I mean, I've seen every single farewell show that they've done. I've
Right.
seen Ocean Avenue, like, the last time they did it. And, honestly, like, I love Yellow Card, but like, how many times can you do Ocean Avenue at this point?
Right.
Like, let's
Yeah.
keep it moving. So
Yeah.
I did like that like really like focused on like some of that newer music
Mhm.
because listening to it, I was like, yeah, I actually like this. This is pretty good.
Right.
I'll go check out their new stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that was definitely smart on their part.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just a fun week. Um, four
Yeah.
shows in 5 days, 6 days. Like that's a dream scenario for us. So to me, like seeing both of those, Andrew and then obviously Yellow Card was just a blast. Do you have any final comments about the week?
I had so much fun. I loved seeing old friends and making new ones. Like, there's
Mhm.
definitely people that we met that we've been like keeping in touch with for these
Yeah,
upcoming shows. So I think that that's really cool because if we didn't do that, we never would have met some of these awesome people. And
right.
I'm excited to see them at like, when we were young and we're
Mhm.
pretty much hitting up like every big event that Andrew has going on this year. So at this point it'll be fun to meet more people along the way and
Right.
we're able to go to the local shows and
Mhm.
I kind of want to be able to help other people too. Like if you want to do an event
Mhm.
and you want some help, like researching and getting something together, definitely reach out to me. I would love to help you and we'll help you get involved with that area and the community.
Yep. Awesome. Well, guys, season 2, episode 1, it's over.
Here we go.
Yep. So thank you guys, obviously, for listening. Definitely like, share, subscribe where you get all your podcasts, because I really think this season 2 is going to be really a lot of fun. We have some guests lined up already and just a lot of cool ideas for episodes. So that's all I got.
Yeah, we're going to be looking for more people to talk to, like fans. So I might be sliding into some people's DMs and we'll get you on
Hey,
the
hey,
show.
hey.
Until
Awesome.
next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Ultimate Mixtape, an Andrew McMahon fan podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe everywhere you listen to your podcasts. To keep up with the latest news, visit our website, www.theultimatemixtape.com.